Put Down the Phone, Philip, by Julian Thompson. Don't you know me, Philip, even after I have been among you such a long time? John chapter 14, verse 9. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been in conversation with someone only to realize that they haven't actually been paying attention to what you've been saying? How were you able to tell? Could you hear an element of distraction in their voice? Did you ask an open question only to receive a closed response? Maybe you received no response at all. Or perhaps, like many people today, you experienced all of the above because the person you were speaking to was paying more attention to their smartphone than they were to you. A recent article in Time magazine opened with these words: "Nothing kills romance faster than pulling out a smartphone, and now research confirms it." Interestingly, the research conducted by psychologists at the University of Arizona indicated that the problem is not with our use of smartphones, but with our attachment to them. If we are not careful, we can give people the impression that we are more attached to our phones than we are to our relationships. Most of us are able to tell when someone is not really paying attention to what we're saying, and if we're honest with ourselves, it's not a nice feeling. I imagine that's how Jesus must have felt in John chapter 14, verse 6. Despite spending the majority of his ministry with his followers, Jesus continually found himself questioning whether they had been listening to him at all. While smartphones were not prevalent in those days, there were nevertheless other distractions that appeared to interest the disciples over and above their relationship with Jesus. James and John appeared to be more interested in fighting for status. Judas showed more concern over his bank balance, and some, like Peter, gave their primary attention to whether or not Jesus was fulfilling their interpretations of prophecy. Don't you know me, Philip? The word know here doesn't refer to a superficial type of knowledge. It refers to the type of knowledge that involves a depth of understanding. How is it, marvels Jesus, that having spent so much time together, it seems as though you don't know me at all? This dialogue suggests something very important concerning our relationship with God and others. In relationships, one of the most important factors is not the amount of time that we spend with a person, but the quality of that time. Distracted time is not quality time, and as the research implies, sometimes the best way to increase that quality of time is by putting down our mobile phones, consciously setting aside any of our distractions, and being fully present in our conversations. In the absence of distraction, true relationship and intimacy begins. To be clear, I'm not suggesting that we get rid of our smartphones. In many ways, they have the ability to enhance our communication. What I am saying is that it is important to consider how smartphones and other potential distractions can influence our relationship with God and each other. Let us therefore be careful, lest the words spoken by Jesus to Philip be also said to us. Don't you know me, even after I have been among you such a long time?